The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, DaddyDWALLY, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X-Bacon Gamin'.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. DaddyDWALLY here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. This is episode 100, boys. We did it 100 straight weeks of The Nerd Chat, and before we get started, make sure you've got your drinks handy for this episode. We will be celebrating. This is going to be a fun celebration of all the games that came out or have come out in 2023 and that will be continuing to come out this year. And we just want to celebrate like we always do. So joining me as always is the co-host, Chipotle Bear. Jose, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. We actually just got back from Disney World over spring break, and it was a great trip. It was a ton of fun, a lot of great food, which we'll talk about later. Definitely got some sun. I don't know if you could see the darkness on my forehead there, burned my forearms, and rode some dope rides. It was great, man. So I'm doing great. It's been a long week going back to work because I went straight from Disney World to work.
Always tough,
but I'm honestly excited to talk about video games and, of course, celebrate 100 episodes with this fabulous crew. We're missing Bubble Boy. He's with us in spirit there at the bottom below Bacon.
Also, shout out to Bubble Boy. His birthday is today. I think he turned 41. Is that right, you guys? 42?
Dan, of our immediate friend group, Dan is the oldest, everyone. Just so you know that. He just likes to make us all older, but he is the eldest. He is the eldest ring, as we say.
Well, okay. Well, we're going to jump into that in a second. But, Jose, before we jump in, what are you drinking in this celebration, my friend?
I am drinking from Saucy Brewworks out of Ohio. It's a beer called What's His Nuts. No joke. It's a delicious peanut butter vanilla coffee stout. Shout out to our friend Claire who brought this when she visited a couple weeks ago. It's
Claire
delightful.
to Square Founty. Shout out. I am having one of my patented margaritas. And when I say my patented, I mean Stone Cold Steve Austin's patented margarita. For everybody out there who loves this incredible drink, it's 2 shots of Patron, 1 shot of triple sec, 1 shot of lime juice. Shake it in your mixer, right? Oh, sorry. 2 dabs, just 2 dabs of agave nectar. Okay, tap those in, shake it up, pour it over ice, 1 shot of Grand Marnier on top. This thing will knock you down so fast it's not even funny. So I'm caramba! And joining us as always is the intern to the co-host, X-Bacon Gamin'. How are you and what are you drinking tonight?
We'll start with what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a Denver Pale Ale. It was a gift for some snow removal I did for a nice elderly couple down the street all winter. I am just coming fresh off vacation from Arizona, thanks to Bizzle for filling in for me last week. I played a golf course I've been wanting to play since 2018 when Tiger Woods won a tournament in that course, and it was the single hardest golf course I've ever laid eyes on, played, touched. But I'd like to thank my wife for indulging my golf habit and going on golf vacations with me. She's a fantastic wife. Shout out to you, Nell. Thank you.
Shout out to Nell, also a #1 fan. And joining us again this week, he's coming through in the clutch. We were supposed to have 5 people, but one of them, Billy, backed out in the last second. But old, reliable J Bizzle 002. Bogus, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. I noticed you didn't ask me what I was drinking. It's probably because you knew it was going to be something cheap.
Yinglings?
I mean, that's the best cheap beer out there is Yingling.
PBR.
I stand by that. PBR is good too. It's not Yingling. Sorry. Yingling's a nice full beer. And when you're a single income household with 4 kids, you drink Yingling, my friend. That's what you do.
Oh my God!
You could have just stopped that sentence that you drink. Period.
Pour one out for Bogus right there. He's a real hero over here. So, unfortunately, Bogus, we don't get that in Colorado for some reason. They just, I don't know. I think I had it once, and I was like, I'd rather have a BBR. Also, big update for the show. Not only do I have an incredible drink, I also got some serious snacks for the show. We've got your sweet tart ropes. We've got the cherry punch. And I just bought these and I'm a little concerned because usually these are solid, but oh wait, no, here's the flavors. I got raspberry, cranberry. Ooh, I don't know about that. Blueberry and berry mix. Mamba. Have you guys had Mambas before?
Love Mamba. Delightful.
Delicious. I'm wondering if I should have gone with the standard flavors, but we'll find out live on the show. And then, of course, the Nerd Chat staple winner of a best snack for 2022. My old Nerds gummy clusters. That's right, Jose. I think
you're lucky you're so skinny, or you'd be chasing down the diabetes door in a hurry.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's the thing, you guys. I work out. If I didn't work out, I would be fat. If anyone could get away with this without doing anything, it's right over there. It's Jay Biz. He literally can do nothing wrong and maintain his slim figure, and I hate him.
He's absolutely right.
Last thing I want to share in celebration of episode 100, I am wearing my Halo Infinite Fracture Entrenched Tanker jacket, and then I figured I would save it for the show. There is my DaddyDWALLY
patch.
Patch.
Yep, that's a call. Patches.
Here we go.
Care of Bubble Boy.
ASMR. And I am going to put it on my jacket. I am an official Halo badass right now. There it is, guys. This jacket, incredible. Go check out our channel and watch the video on it. Speaking of our channel, Jose, let's jump into some huge TNC shout outs, Jose. Shout out the big news for us. We did it, boys. We have over 100 subscribers on YouTube. We got them back. Somebody came back. I don't know if Jose created a couple of ghost accounts, but we're sitting at 101 subs. And not only that, guys, I got a message from YouTuber. I guess it's on our page. It said new achievement, 10,000 views. And that was 2 weeks ago. More of your videos are being looked at more often. So congratulations to all of us. I think we each had a video for March. I already have one planned for April. Mine's going to be the Wolong review. I need to get to that. Maybe Resident Evil. I don't know. Jose just had an Elgato screen pop up there. So keep that in mind moving forward. And then speaking of our videos, we had a couple of comments. And this one is a sad one, you guys. I feel really bad. Rayben6177 on our Halo jacket video, he wrote, FedEx lost my jacket. An Xbox Gear Shop could not reorder one for me. Horrifying news. I feel very lucky. I'm so sorry, Ray-Ben, that happened to you in your jacket. I feel lucky that they got me my large. I sent back a small. Maybe you're a small and you can take the one that they sent me, but horrific news. And then we also had another comment, Smithy. I remember his name was Smithy, and he was like, he had a collectibles channel. I checked it out. He wrote on my setup video, he said, that is an awesome setup. So shout out to Smithy. Thank you so much for the comments and the subscriptions on our videos. Jose, Bake, and Bogus, anyone you want to shout out as we jump into episode 100 here?
I was just to a thank you to everyone, especially truly all of our significant others and friends. You know, I know there's often a playful banter about like making fun of our show, and it started definitely from humble beginnings. But the truth is, like, we love doing it, man, and it's really everybody's support that kind of keeps it going. It's definitely something we look forward to each week. We love having our guests like Bogus on here, and you know, we're excited for more things to come. You know, we also just, a lot of us have really engaged on the Twitter streets, as we say. And there's been some great people that have really supported us there. Of course, Joe and Kyle, but also Ains over at Season Gaming and Matthew Kennedy and a whole bunch of like Luke Lore over at the Xbox Expansion Pass. So excited to be a very small part, but a very proud part of that community, and excited for the next 100 episodes for sure.
Bacon, is there anyone you'd like to shout out as I'm opening up these Mambas?
I would like to shout out Mr. Wally himself for 100 weeks ago starting the epic solo cast that has led to this greatness that we are sitting in front of today.
Who could have thought?
And thanks Thanks to B for always being in the chat for us. B, my
Yeah,
guy.
I was gonna
B
say,
is
yeah,
my
let's shout out the
guy.
chat. Absolutely. Shout
Absolutely.
out to B. Shout out to Bogus, of course, for always being a loyal fan. Shout out to Claire, the Square Founding. Speaking of, I wanted to have her on tonight, but I don't think we could have worked that out. We need to get her on her own episode.
Yeah,
We got to
I haven't forgotten. Yeah.
Shout out to Zapatista. Mickey, is this your YouTube name? It's a little different there. It's throwing me
Zapbiggy.
off.
Love it.
Zappa Mickey. And so thanks again, B. We really do appreciate you guys being here. Without all of you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. And thank you, Bacon, for the kind words. You're right. Episode 0. I can't believe, dude, we're coming up on 2 years. You've seen us age 2 years. Not only that, but you've seen the show grow. And I feel like, especially in this past year, we've had a lot of growth. So I'm excited, like Jose said, on the direction we are going. So thank you again to Bogus. Thank you to who was also supposed to be here, Billy, aka Goose, was going to join us tonight, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. Hopefully we'll get him on soon, and also Cordy Morgs, and maybe Bubble Boy will make it out of the darkness. I don't know. He, just like Aaron Rodgers, we haven't heard a decision yet, so we continue to wait. Guys, let's jump into some Xbox news for the week.
News team, assemble!
I was having such a great time during this episode, and now I'm getting bummed out. We have to talk about the Activision Blizzard King acquisition yet again, but hopefully this is the beginning of the end. So, as many of you have probably heard, the CMA sent out their, what was it, some report about their initial findings, and they reversed it saying, if Microsoft acquires ABK, it's not going to hurt the gaming market. Okay, great. So maybe this is the beginning of the end. But I did want to read this March update on the Microsoft deal. And this is coming directly from Activision Blizzard's CEO. Is it Kotick? Do we know how to say his name? Is it Kotick? Kotick, Jose Bacon?
I think it's Kotick.
I'm going to say Kotick. So Bobby K. That's
Bobby
good.
K.
That's a good way to put it. He said, I want to continue reading. Don't ask me for that. Team, as you know, our proposed merger with Microsoft is under review by regulatory agencies around the world, some coverage of which you may have seen recently in the press. I will continue to provide updates regarding the deal. We remain confident that the transaction will ultimately be approved. Last month, our team traveled to Brussels, aka Jim Ryan's favorite spot, and London with the team from Microsoft to speak at closed-door hearings with the European Commission, the competition, and the CMA, and the UK. Microsoft proposed thoughtful, generous remedies to address regulators' concerns and made additional announcements reinforcing their pledge to bring more games to more players around the world. And we've talked about this. That means their deal with Nintendo, Nvidia, and Ubudis. We still don't know how to say that. Our proposed merger would help us compete in the increasingly competitive marketplace that includes rapidly growing foreign and powerful companies that enjoy protection in their home markets, Sony, and access to strong talent pools. The partnership with Microsoft will enable us to more effectively compete against these market-leading competitors. The good news is regulators who initially had concerns about the console competition are starting to better understand our industry. The data and evidence Microsoft has been presenting are tilting the scale, and you may have seen statements from Sony, including an argument that if this deal goes through, Microsoft would release deliberately buggy versions of our games on PlayStation. We all know our passionate players would be the first to hold Microsoft accountable for keeping its promises of content and quality parity. And all of us who work so hard to deliver the best games in our industry care too deeply about our players to ever launch subpar versions of our games. Sony has even admitted that they aren't actually concerned about a Call of Duty agreement. They would just like to prevent our merger from happening. This is obviously disappointing behavior from a partner for almost 30 years. But we will not allow Sony's behavior to affect our long-term relationship. PlayStation players know we will continue to deliver the best games possible on Sony platforms as we have since the launch of PlayStation. And basically he goes on to say that, they're going to try to work this deal through and they're going to keep us updated. But I just wanted to read that part about the Sony claiming that Microsoft and Activision would create inferior versions of a game. Bogus, I don't think I've heard anything about your feelings on the ABK deal. So I'm gonna throw it over to you. What do you care about this at all? Like, does this change? Does this excite you in any way, or are you just like, I don't care? And what do you think of Sony's remarks about them making an inferior version, August?
I think they're. I'll preface this with the disclaimer that I am also an Xbox fan and don't own a PlayStation. Haven't since PS2 days, but I love PlayStation. Every time I play those games, I love them. But I'm surprised that PS fans aren't coming out now and calling it what it is. I mean, he is trolling, right? I appreciate the concern. If you're going to come out and you're going to say we're concerned about, and that's, I think, and then they're just, it just seems like it changes, right? At the beginning, what was it? It was the thread that, okay, we're worried about our business, right? Now it's about inferior games. It's just they're grasping at straws because they know this merger is going to go through. Microsoft has been playing 4D chess since the beginning because they've gotten all these people right onto their bandwagon by just offering them the same service that they are offered for PlayStation, and PlayStation turned down. And other people are picking it up saying, hey, this is great, right? And why would you not want something that's going to help your base and make you money, right? Everybody's going to win. And I'm not a negative guy, but crying Jim Ryan is definitely. I think he's going to go down in infamy with that name. I don't know if he'll ever get rid of it. So,
I was just going to say, to be fair, yes, he is a running joke, and we don't all agree with how he's handled this, but he has stalled this deal for over a year and a half, and PlayStation is seeing incredible sales. Like, he's doing his job for Sony.
Yeah.
We don't like him, but he is a good businessman. But
no,
he's no Phil Spencer,
Yeah. I agree with you. And, I'll be honest, selfishly, I want it to go through because I want to play Diablo for free, right? I don't want to pay for Diablo.
And future CODs and future Activision games. Absolutely.
But if it didn't go through, to me, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I had the guy I borrowed my PS4. He said he read something the other day saying that Microsoft was going to sell its gaming business if the deal didn't go through. I said,
we talked. No,
that's crazy. That's
absolutely.
That's
insane. Nuts. No. Before we jump into some more reactions on this, because I know Bacon wants to talk about it, we got a shout out to Nick V. Is that? Do we know? Is that Nico?
That's Nico. That's Nico.
Okay, Nico. That's what I thought. Nico, what's the dumbest video game you've ever played? Easy answer. You saw that Bacon wrote Dead Space 3. I agree. That's terrible. But way, way worse, Nico, Crossfire X. I still cannot believe I played this game and got 1,000 out of 1,000, and it will forever be a mark of shame. If you go to I don't know why anyone would, but if you go to my True Achievements profile and it goes down, it like shows your like most unique achievements or like your accomplishments. Right there, like number 3 or 4 is Crossfire X achievement, which is for getting every achievement. So I will ever have that mark for playing that abomination.
The Scarlet Letter, bud.
Exactly, Scarlet. I was just speaking of Scarlet Letter. Did you guys watch the Bachelorette finale or the Bachelor finale?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so I'll throw it over to Jose. Jose, can we talk about the ABK? Is it over, Jose?
Well, hang on.
I should ask you.
Well, I'll talk about it, but as I do that, think about it. We also had a great question in the chat from B. He asked us what were some of our favorite memories of the 100 episodes that we've done. So B, we're going to come to that. That'll be a good kind of wrap up for the show. But thinking about that, boys.
Good idea.
The ABK thing, I'm still very excited for this. Like, I fully agree with J-Biz that at this point we're just grasping for straws. Like that's normal. And I hear what you're saying, Dan, about Jim Ryan, but the truth is, at the end of this, when this goes through, no one is going to go back and be like, wow, he did a great job fighting for it. They're just going to remember that it went through. So it's just part of kind of, I think, the growing pains of the system itself. Again, I'm excited. I agree fully selfishly, like it'd be super dope to have Diablo for free. For the record, I still will be buying it because I've just heard nothing but amazing stuff, and I'm excited to jump into it. But at the end of the day, I think I still have of the opinion that I think Xbox is really trying to do this for a positive reason. Don't get me wrong. It is, of course, to make money as well, 100%. But I also think that they're trying to do it because they want to spread gaming. They do want to get in the mobile market. And again, that's not where I primarily played. And that will be a shift for me if they really go that way. But it also could be super dope. I mean, like, I know the technology is not 100% there, but it's getting closer every day, right? And if we can get to the point where we're legitimately like being able to game on our phone on the go, that is awesome. Like that is a future I'd love to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like even like I know Wolong you can play right now mobily. I haven't tried that. That seems insane because of the timing stuff, but that's
Yeah.
pretty cool that you can do that. You know what I mean? Like it's just we
It
have to
is
wait for that
cool.
technology to catch up.
I wanted to bring this up as a topic maybe for another show is just how, the old Simpsons meme with Grandpa Abe saying, I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was, and now what's it is weird and scary to me, and it'll happen to you too. I kind of feel like that's what's happening. We're becoming the old boomer gamers, and we're always set on our consoles and our PCs. All these younger kids that Jose says all the time, where are they gaming? They're gaming on mobile. They're gaming on Switches. That like Askin's kid, all he plays are like 4 games. Fortnite, Roblox, now he's got an Apex, all these games as a service. And so like the future of gaming, like for us, like we want to hold on to these traditional single player games. But I told Mike, I'm like, hey, he's like, what are some good games? All he plays is Fortnite and Roblox, and I want him to play something else. And so I'm like, oh, try Mass Effect, try the Halo Master Chief Collection. I'm like, there's all these great games on Game Pass. He said he signed up for Game Pass. He tried a game for like 5 minutes and then just went back to his old stuff. So I'm a little concerned about where gaming is heading. I don't know, Jay Biz, your daughter apparently is a little bit more open. You guys are at least doing the Halo Infinite campaign, but Bacon, I'll say that for another time. Bacon, closing remarks on this ABK drama. Just please, can this be over?
All right, gentlemen. So I was sitting in the airport in Tucson, or Tucson as we call it, and I got the great news that the CMA has finally come out, pulled their head out of their tuchus, and said this will not affect console industry. And the only interest they have now is, in fact, the cloud, which Microsoft is working on addressing. Follow that up by Sony's home turf, Japan, also approving the deal with no structural remedies or behavioral remedies. Now, they can do that because Sony owns a 98 to 2% lead in that country, and us owning ABK is not going to do anything for that. So that's great news. It's been great news for us. The only problem is old Jim and his antics has caught the ire of Washington, D.C., and 11 senators who are now looking into their unfair trade practices for the digital marketing and goods space, which allows Sony to thrive over here in our country, which allows Xbox and Microsoft to flop in Japan. So I'm not sure this is having the desired effect that old Jimbo was looking for when he started, crying from the rooftops. So it does feel like it's finally starting to wrap up. It feels like it's coming to an end. We're going to get resolutions sometime next month, and we will be playing Diablo free in Game Pass. I can feel it. And I got Diablo. I got both my characters to 20, and it's an awesome game. So look forward to that, Xbox fans. It's coming.
Okay. Bacon's living in a dream world over there, guys. Let's move on to the next story. But before we do, I got to shout out, guys. These berry mix Mambas, Jose, go grab them immediately. This packet right here is the best flavor. This is incredible. This is the Mamba mix you've all been waiting for. Because sometimes, you get the yellow and the orange. You don't always want
I don't
those.
hate the orange.
I hate the orange. Orange is the worst. But like, if you're lucky, you get the 2 reds and a yellow. But then when you get the 1 red and a yellow and orange, you're like, come on, man. Just get this berry mix. I highly recommend it. I'm going to eat all of these already. So let's move on to story number 2. And I know this has got Jose pumped. He sent me an Instagram message right away when he saw this. He's got the toidles right behind him in his bookcase back there. TMNT graphic novel The Last Ronin will become a dark God of War style video game, bloody hell. And this is coming from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer. Prepare for a darker take on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a video game version of well-regarded comic book The Last Ronin. As reported by Polygon, this game will be a third-person action role-playing game in the style of God of War, with the last surviving Turtles member as its hero. The Last Ronin tells a markedly different Turtles tale from usual. It's set in a grim future where 3 of the 4 superheroes are dead alongside Master Splinter. The remaining turtle, whose identity is only revealed at the end of the book, acts as a lone avenger, taking down the Foot Clan across New York City. How sick does that sound, Jose? I know nothing about The Last Ronin, but when I heard that synopsis, I was like, sign me up right away. You know,
Yeah.
usually I'm not a fan of stuff like this because I'm, God of War, it's fine. I don't love the combat. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I'm not like in love with it. But this story has me pumped. So Jose, I'm throwing it right over to you. Talk to me about this.
So I don't know much more than that description. I did do a tiny bit of research, and I actually absolutely want to read The Last Ronin. I actually got to talk to Bubba Boy. I bet he has actually read it, so I'm excited to hear what his thoughts are on that. But a couple pieces that are cool about him is the turtle does have all of the weapons. So you have one of Leo's katanas, you have Donnie's
Don't
bow,
spoil
you
who it
have.
is.
Well, I don't know who it is, but I'm
Okay,
saying
good.
you have
Nobody
one of Raph's
no
eyes
spoilers out there, chat.
and one of Mikey's nunchucks. That does lend itself really well to this kind of like third person over the shoulder like action thing where you have lots of different weapons and variety. I also just like that really the last turtle game we got, which was a great one, was Shredder's Revenge, and it was definitely harkening back to that arcade feeling that we all loved. We grew up with Turtles in Time and stuff like that. But I really actually appreciate that this could be totally something different. And I like the dark take. Not that I want it to be dark all the time, but I just like that it's something new. I will say that it depends on who's going to do it. Right. Like that's the kind of the last piece that needs to fall into place is like, who's going to take this on? Because this is a very big change in the world of like the Ninja Turtles. And for a huge generation of gamers that are now kind of our age, like this could be huge, like in lots of ways. So I'm excited to see who gets it and to kind of see what they do with it. I know we're probably years out from it, but that's great because it gives me time to read through the graphic novel and report back and that kind of stuff. So just thought it was really cool news. Excited that we're seeing some new IP come out, even though I'm excited for all the 2023 stuff, Starfield and obviously like Forza and Diablo and that kind of stuff. It's also exciting to hear some of the stuff coming down the pipeline. And for the record, I hope it's on all platforms. I hope it's not an Xbox exclusive. I certainly hope it's not a PlayStation exclusive. I just want it to be out there for everyone because again, we want to play games that are fun. So those are just my thoughts, man. I think it's exciting. If you have any thoughts in the chat or if you want to message us too, I would love to know more again, but no spoilers. Be
No
good
spoilers.
out there.
Also,
Be good
chat,
people.
tell us your favorite turtle. Quickly, Jose, favorite turtle.
Donatello, without question. He's the smart one.
J Biz, favorite turtle.
I would be Donatello if we were the turtles.
Leonardo. Swords, katanas are my favorite weapon of all time.
Oh, okay. And Bacon?
Probably Michelangelo.
Okay, well, perfect.
Look at that.
Raphael, the best turtle right here. We got our form right here, boys. We're
That's
ready
because
to
Dan gets
drop
angry all
it.
the time. That's why he's Raphael.
By the way, Dan,
bad attitude.
I have no idea who the turtle is, but I would guess Raph. If I had to guess, that would be my guess. That's who I'm thinking is left. So
that's what they're saying on Seasoned Gaming. Like he seems like the only one. Well, let's be real. Raph's a badass. He's the only one who could survive. And
he's just got that killer.
He's like the loner too, who wants to go off and just like avenge everyone. Eat out of a soup can.
August, are you gonna play this game? Does this interest you at all, or are you a Turtles fan? I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the Turtles fan, that Jose is, but I know you guys love Turtles in Time, and I never had the love for that game. I played through it and beat it, but like when it came back out, I didn't have much desire to go back and play it again. Riley and I played a little bit of that was Battletoads. So we played a little bit of Battletoads. And I still might go back and try to play the new one. But anyway, I am excited. This game looks cool. Looks like it's more my, like an RPG
style.
Probably could come out and more my style.
Have
It's God of War. That makes me excited.
August needs that Souls combat. That's what he really wants.
That's right.
James, you should play Shredder's Revenge with Riley. My daughters both love it. Even Scarlett, who's 5, is super down. And the other part that
Battletoads.
I never did play Battletoads. You told me you loved it. The new one.
Yeah, you guys need to play that.
The other thing I was going to say, don't forget there's the new Turtles movie coming out. And granted, it's animated. It's not the same as like a live
not
action
even close.
one. But dude, the writing, Seth Rogen, like the trailer I think it looks awesome. I'm super excited for that to come out. So anyway, Bacon, what do you think, man?
Shout out to B in the chat, who's a big fan of Splinter. I repeat, he is a fan of Splinter.
The hairy rat?
He already chose everybody else.
The rat?
So
not even what's his name? The hockey guy?
Casey Jones.
Casey
April
Jones?
O'Neil.
Come on, B.
Hey, B's old school. As far as this game goes, I'm not sure I can handle this. I'm not sure I can handle a world where my heroes die. I don't know. Are we ready for a dark version of Turtles? It's incredibly intriguing, and what we see from this little article here, it doesn't shed much light on it. So I'm sure we'll see more if it does get greenlit and ever does come to fruition. It's weird because I grew up on Turtles in the arcades, and they were such a formidable part of my youth that I'm not sure I can handle a dead turtle, much less 3
Yeah, I
dead
agree.
turtles.
It made me sad, but it's kind
Yeah,
of cool at the same time, you know? Like it is a cool premise.
it is. I just, if it's God of War inspired, I hope there's a lot less shimmying through cracks in the wall to get to the next.
It's going to be a shimmy through a sewer.
Oh,
Patrick, don't
shimmy
worry.
through, shimmy
Okay?
through. Load the next level. But
And
that
walking
looks dope.
simulator. No, it
Sounds
is.
dope.
It is cool, guys. Let's move on to story number 3. Lego 2K Drive is a fun mix of Forza Horizon and Mario Kart, and this is coming from Tom Phillips again over at Eurogamer. This was just announced. So, guys, we've got a game that's Forza Horizon mixed with Legos, and it says Mario Kart on here. I just wanted to mention it. I don't know. Does anyone have any kind of big interest in this game at all? Because I feel like hasn't it already been done? Like we had the Lego expansion in Forza Horizon. Like, does Lego? It kind of makes sense to me, right? So I don't know. Bacon, I'll throw it over to you. Do you have any interest in this game, or are you like, send it over to Jose and Bogus with their kids and maybe my
So
kids too?
are these the same people that made like Lego Skywalker? Because I actually like those games. I'm just not sure.
I think, I mean, it's from
Yeah.
I think so. Visual Concepts, the team behind 2K's NBA and WWE titles. So no. So
So it's not going to have the humor of a Lego.
oh no,
game
I'm
and
sure it
stuff like
will.
that. I'm
No,
just,
I think it will.
I don't know who needs this with Forza in our lives, and then Forza Motorsport that's coming out this year. Guess it'd be probably cool for kids. You know, I do like the actual Lego games. I really enjoy those. So, NBA 2K and NBA.
Oh my gosh, this is coming out May 19th. Like
Oh
this
boy.
is coming. I mean, I
Hot,
don't think
hot,
it's
coming hot.
the best timing for it with all these great games coming out. But I mean, you're right, coming in hot here. But it does have 6-player co-op. It says so. For
Hmm.
kids, to me, this sounds like a game that should be on Game Pass. I heard the last Star Wars game didn't sell or do particularly well, and then it did eventually come to Game Pass, right? The Skywalker
It's a
saga.
great game. Low
Well,
key, great game.
yeah. So, Bogus, what about you? Any reactions to this? I don't even know. You got into Forza Horizon, right? But you're not like a diehard like we are.
Yeah. So not a big racer, never have been. But when Forza 5 came to Game Pass, I jumped on board, and I probably am 30 hours sunk into that game. And, you know, I keep waiting for a lull in my gaming backlog so I can go back to it and do some of the Hot Wheels stuff. But there's just no lull in 2023, man. It just keeps coming.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But
So, yeah, I mean, it's probably not for me. I probably won't check it out, but I will, if it comes to Game Pass, load it up for my 5-year-old Nixon because he's a huge race fan.
Yeah, he loves, Grayson likes Forza. I don't let him play much. I need to talk about you offline about how much you let your kids play because I need some pointers on that.
Just real quick, I just wanted to throw out off topic. Mamba are good. Haichu are king. So
I agree.
But
Mamba's solid.
Mamba is good. But I think I've already told you.
Yeah, you told me. The mango Haichu. Right, the Haichu factory or import or whatever it is right by you. I love mango Haichu. I could eat that like just not, right, Jose. Jose, any reaction to this, or should we move on to the next story?
Just, you know, I know this isn't necessarily the game that we all want to play, and that's fine. But you also remember, like, a big reason we game now is because we were able to game as kids. And the truth is, while it is really rad that there are a lot of great games coming out, not a lot of them are geared towards kids, and a lot of parents are not going to like they're not going to be playing Redfall, they're not going to be playing Diablo, they're probably not going to be playing Starfield. Like, so you do need other big titles out there. I certainly agree with Bacon that I like the Lego games in of themselves, and if they can find a way to kind of harness that energy in a racing game, that's cool. Again, I have nothing against it. I mean, it's up against a lot of competitors, so I don't think they're necessarily shooting for Game of the Year or anything. But again, it's cool that they're doing this. It's cool that we're seeing more stuff come out. You know, I know there's probably been a lot of IP and stuff that work has been done on that just didn't come out because of the pandemic, and so hopefully we're seeing a little bit of those fruits now. But other than that, man, you know, good luck to them. I hope it goes well, and if it doesn't, bring it to Game Pass. You know, or let's look at a port for Forza down the road. We'll see.
All right, before we move on to the next story, I just wanted to give a huge TNC shout out to Zappa Miggy. The dumbest game he ever played was the California Raisins 1988 PC game. Typical marketing crash, and the California Raisins was a mindless platform game. Escape the Cereal Factory. by the way, there we got a huge shout out. Oh my, making his first TNC. This might be the first time he's listened or watched. Everybody give a huge nerd chat shout out to Alan, PakAttack, Pack.
Sweet. Welcome, buddy.
Bacon is bowing. Alan, we're so happy to see you. Pac-Man said only came for the bacon and Jay Bizzle and Chipotle and AWOL Bubble Boy, birthday boy, but not the daddy. See most of you online. All right. Thank you, Alan. I just got excited and hyped you up for your grand entry into our show. So thanks for stopping by, Alan, one of my best friends since 4th grade, Alan Pack. There he is, you guys.
It's true friendship right there, bud.
To see me. So shout out to Miggy though for his California Raisins. By the way, I love that. I used to think that they literally wrote that song. I heard it through the grapevine. I thought they wrote that. I didn't know it was a real song that they just took on. And Miggy, that game sounds way better than Crossfire X because I love platforming games, so I'm sure it was better than my game. So let's move into story number 4. Bioware, speaking, Alan loves Bioware and Mass Effect. Executive producer and Mass Effect team rally to finish Dragon Age Dreadwolf. And this is coming from Dean Takahashi over at VentureBeat. Former BioWare executive producer Mark Dara has returned to work on Dragon Age Dreadwolf as a consultant. On top of that, Electronic Arts said that the Mass Effect team will help with the production of Dragon Age Dreadwolf as the production and polishing tasks ratchet upward. The Mass Effect team can do this because the next Mass Effect title, this makes me sad, is still in the pre-production stage with a small core team working on it, GamesBeat has learned. Quote, our studio is focused on creating the best Dragon Age Dreadwolf while the core Mass Effect team continues their pre-production work, said Gary McKay, BioWare general manager, in a statement to GamesBeat. We continue to iterate and polish Dreadwolf, focusing on the things that matter most to our fans. As we further connect this new experience with the series' legacy, Mark Dara will join the team as a consultant, bringing with him years of experience working on Dragon Age. We're proud to have this team with strong leadership at the helm working together to realize the vision we have for the game. I'm going to throw this one over to Bogus to start us off. Bogus, did you play Dragon Age Inquisition? Have you played any of the Dragon Age games? I just want to start out. I'll say I played 1. I liked it. Never played 2. And then I didn't play the Game of the Year 2014 Dragon Age Inquisition. Bogus, are you excited for this game? Did you like Inquisition? What are your thoughts on this? To me, this is a red flag that they have to bring on another team. Clearly, they're struggling with this, and makes me very sad that Mass Effect is also not really in development. So a lot there, Bogus. Tell me what you're thinking.
So Dragon Age, to me, was a poor man's Mass Effect. It was not Mass Effect. It was not as epic as Mass Effect. But a lot of what I love so much about Mass Effect, they took some of those ideas and put them into, a fantasy, a RPG style game. Things for example, your actions and decisions you make, they have consequences, and the characters that you develop relationships with, pretty good story, not amazing, not great, not anything to the level of epicness that is Mass Effect, but definitely got my fix playing that game, and really actually enjoyed the gameplay. You can jump around between characters. It's more similar to like a Final Fantasy, not turn-based, but kind of where your whole squad goes with you. And I actually really enjoyed that game. It started slow. I actually did not very much enjoy the very first kind of area that you're in, but once you get into your base and you actually can kind of set up and go over, it was a great game. And so I am excited. I'll definitely be playing this Dreadwolf when it comes out, and hopefully, you never like to hear that they need help. But I only imagine that if we go back in history and look at all the games that they needed help, there were some banger slangers in there that came out of it, even if the majority weren't. So I'm optimistic. So we'll see.
What kind of gameplay? How would you describe the combat? Like, give me a game that's closest to.
So this could be like there might be somebody listening to this who's like, he doesn't have any clue what he's talking about. I played 1 hour, 2 hour and a half of Diablo 4. And I think, and from gameplay I've watched from Diablo 3, I think it has a little bit of that feel where it feels, I don't think it's quite the masses, that Diablo just throws masses at you, right? And you have to kind of go through.
That makes sense to me, Bogus.
Yeah, but it's button pressing and the build.
A roll is there a roll?
That's right. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So you can build yourself as a mage, or you can build yourself as a warrior or a rogue. So it's similar to that, I would say most.
Is it a 3/4 view, or is it? What's the view on it?
It's isometric.
Isometric, gotcha.
Yeah. At least it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure it's isometric.
Yeah, you can. Isn't it just like third person where you can just move the camera wherever you want? Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can kind of move it around.
Bacon, have you played any of the Dragon Age games, and what are your thoughts on this?
I did play a little bit of Inquisition, I believe it was. It just never really landed with me, and I'm wondering if what Baga says it's a slow, early thing that might have been my issue with it as well. But me being a better gamer than I used to be, I will try this, and I will play it. My big sad here is, of course, the Mass Effect teams being absconded to not make the next greatest game ever made. So that does scare me. And as far as needing help, I mean, the initiative needs help from
lots of help.
Come on, the amount of support studios that are used in this industry. How many did Halo have working on?
Yeah, I'm not saying necessarily it's a bad thing. It just sounds to me like it's taking longer than they initially planned.
But it does sound good that it's in post-production and the bug squashing phase and the cleanup phase and the optimization phase. So that tells us that we're going to be getting Dragon Age here. Able to get a good announcement at not E3 this year. So
did you, by the way,
leading right into a topic.
Well, I do want to talk. Well, okay, yeah, I guess that is next. But Jose, quickly, I do want to play this game. I've always wanted to play Inquisition. I actually bought it for Pony. Believe it or not, guys, this is one of the games that my brother actually did play and put a bunch of time into it. And then he got like so close to the ending and he just quit on it. He's like, I'm bored of it now. And he just stopped. And I was like shocked because he did like the first Dragon Age. And he just, I don't know why, but he just stopped. So I've always thought about it. But there's just too many games like Bug. So we're going to talk about that later. So Jose, go ahead. Closing remarks on BioWare.
I've never played any of the Dragon Age games, but not because I'm opposed to them. I actually would like to. Like before I had just gotten into so many games from honestly being part of the show and stuff, it was on my list to go back and play Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. And I honestly don't know if I'll get back anytime real soon, but I'm excited for this. I hear what you guys are all saying about BioWare being taken away from Mass Effect, but the other way you could look at this is like they could be being told, go help this that gets done, and then we're going to entirely focus on Mass Effect, right? Like that's where we're going to put all of our resources, and that would be a great thing for us, right? That means that they really have the time to build like what we consider are arguably one of the best, if not the best, series of games ever made. Let's do that again. Let's make a Mass Effect basically 4, 5, and 6. Let's pull a George Lucas with Star Wars, and that takes time. That takes that would be amazing for all of us, right? So I hope it goes well. I'm glad. I am also glad that we're seeing in the industry be smart about releasing games. So instead of forcing crunch or in force of spreading people too thin, just put that on pause. Come help. Let's get this fixed. Let's get this out, and then we can work on other things. It's not a bad tactic, right? And it's also good for people, which is great for everyone else as well. So that's all I have. I loved Bacon's. He had a great segue into E3, so we can take that.
Speaking of E3, Ubisoft is no longer attending E3. That was news, and then RIP E3 is not happening this year. It is done. Pour one out for E3. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. I'm kind of indifferent to this. Like, I always feel like E3 has kind of been on the decline, and as much as I love some of the memories, I also remember some bad times with E3. Like, I remember E3 2013 with the Xbox One after the reveal, and like that was I knew with that reveal, and then they went to the conference and they tried to salvage it. Like, that was the beginning of the end for Xbox One, and Xbox has not been the same since E3 2013. Or sorry, the reveal and the launch of the PS4. So I don't know. Is this sad? Yes. We had a lot of great memories. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about all of this. But yes, E3 is no longer happening. And I wanted to mention this because Bacon brought up how the E3 has said that I couldn't help but laugh. Have you seen some of Jeff Keighley's tweets like immediately after? This is why I can't follow this guy. I don't know. There's just something about him where I'm like, dude, timing, humility. Like the first thing he tweeted was, "This is a picture of me at this first E3 with Doom back in the." And he's like, "I started to notice back 4 years ago that E3 was not headed in the right direction. So now we prepared the Summer Games Fest. We will see you June 8th at the Summer Games Fest." Like, it's like, dude, like, can you just be like respectful and not plug your stupid Games Fest all the time? I don't know why, and I hope that Jeff never watches, but there's just something about him, you guys. I don't trust Jeff Keighley. There's something about him. I don't know why. I don't like him. I refuse to follow him. I'm not in on your Games Fest. I've never thought they've been particularly good shows. I've never thought the Game Awards have been. We've already talked about the 27 million people watch the Game Awards. I'm just like, I don't know, you guys. Something about him.
I mean, I would take 27 million people watching this show for the record.
His obsession with Hideo Kojima, I'm just saying something is off with Jeff Keighley. So I'm going to throw it over to our guest, Jay Bogus. Do you have any reaction to this? Or are you kind of like, you know what? I'm sad, but it's time to move on and adapt?
Yeah, probably the latter. I don't have any amazing memories or special memories of games that came out from E3. I'm sure there's something that would jog my memory if you guys started talking about yours, but it just seems, it honestly seems like I know Jeff Keighley's kind of going and trying to start his brand and the things he's bringing, and he brings a lot of good stuff. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you know, I I think that he probably has the clout and the respect of the community to bring in whatever he needs to be successful. But to me, what this notes is, it seems to me that a lot of these developers and IPs are trying to do their own independent things, right? You have the state of play, you have what Xbox just did in January, developer direct. And so it seems to me, and I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing more of these big, you know, EA can do its own thing. BioWare, you got, you know, Activision. Who knows what's going to happen? That's eventually.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Microsoft,
like, just think about Xbox and Microsoft. They're going to have to. They're going to have so much.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's the future, is less of this. Everybody comes to this one event and people just start kind of doing things because, you know, Microsoft is big enough and they have the talent, I'm sure, that they can do whatever Jeff Keighley is going to do. They have to just be a part of it, right? And they have to just say, okay, we're going to get our, you know, 15 minutes that we got to just, or I can just do my own event the next week. And so I'm wondering if that's kind of where these things are going to go. So it's not as big of a deal to me because I think it opens up the door for innovation. And I think that's always a good thing. But you know, I mean, E3 has been around. I mean, how many years did you say in the article, how many years they've been around?
20 something.
I know they missed
over 20
over COVID, but yeah, it's been around forever. So, you know, I think that's sad. But at the same time, like I said, I think it opens up the door for innovation, and that's always a good thing.
I agree. I will say I would have loved to have gone to one, but you know, I'm sure there are other kind of conferences that we go to. I think it'd be sick to go to like the Microsoft. They're one of theirs. We gotta do that, you guys. That needs to be a bucket list for the Nerd Chat. All of us go out to the Microsoft Theater and get out there. So, um, I also want to say a lot of people are kind of bummed on this, and I get that, but I think it's just because it was something to look forward to, like as an event in the summer. And we can still look forward to these smaller events, but at the same time, I do remember it being kind of overwhelming, you know, like, and some games may not get the spotlight that they deserve because they're overshadowed by other stuff. So I think in general, this is a positive. Um, in the long term when we look at it, because you can, like Bog said, we can have each their own events. You can have the spotlight. So Bacon, tell me your thoughts on this. What's your, I don't even know. Like, are you big? I don't even know if you're a big E3 guy.
I am a big E3 guy because back when E3 was at its prime, we knew a certain number of days this event was going on, and we know that Ubisoft is on Sunday at this time, followed by EA at 2 hours later at this time, followed by Microsoft. Next day, Sony's leading, and we were getting a whole weekend of just back to back conferences with blowout games, sizzle reels, a bunch of cheering people in the audience, and then watching the first E3 ish after COVID, and how spread out everything was, and all the little just piecemeals we were getting just felt so anticlimactic. But it does seem like this is where it's going, and I'm sure these publishers can save a ton of money not paying the ESRB for floor space and convention room space. And Microsoft's still going to do it in their theater. Do they really need to do that? Is it still going to be a live event? Because I listen to a lot of podcasts during the day, and I'm sad for those guys who all have plans. The Iron Lords and Cole Eastwood and Gaz from Game On Daily all meeting up, flying from freaking London to go to E3. And now what are they going to do? They've been building it
go
up
hang
for
out with
so
Jeff.
long. Yeah, but and as far as Jeff, I know he's a pompous guy. He's a true Sony fan. He's a pompous gentleman, but he has brought a spotlight to the thing we love is video games. The video game awards, no matter, it's a big advertisement thing, and there's music, and it's sell, but he's popularized something that hasn't historically been popular to the masses. We've always been regarded as basement dwelling dorks who don't have girlfriends and haven't touched grass in years.
Half of that is true right now.
But you know what I mean is, gamers have historically had a bad rap for being dweebs, dorks, nerd. Call us what you want. But he has popularized that, and he's getting some high-end musical acts to come and perform at the Game Awards. Yes, he's a pompous.
Yeah,
he's
I'll just say,
self-made. I get it.
I think his heart is in the right spot. I think his intentions are good. But sometimes I'm like, dude, Jeff, you just got there's just something about him, you guys. I don't know what it is. Jose, go ahead.
Stop loving your own legend, basically, Jeff. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Jose, go ahead.
I mean, I'm honestly a little bit between Bacon and Bogus, but honestly very close to Bacon in that I do have a lot of nostalgia for E3. And I think that, like, my head says, the smart side of me says this is naturally going to happen, right? As brands grow bigger, as Microsoft spends more money, as Sony spends more money, as Nintendo spends more money, it was natural for them to go out to their own conferences. But I think what is so hurtful to me, as silly as it sounds, is that I think as a child it was like a bucket list item of like, I want to go there one day. I want to go to E3 and just be walking among the masses and see the cool games and pick up the merch and see the cosplay. Like that is an event of it itself. And while there will still be some degree of that with these kind of shows, it'll be much smaller for the public, right? And there's much more that will be not available to the public. And that is what it is. We can still buy merch. We have the internet, right? Like that also has been different since I was a kid, right? So there's kind of a give and take on a lot of it. I think the one thing that I certainly hope, and it's also part of the nostalgia that I miss, is that I really fully agree with Bacon's point that the frustration, the sadness I have for E3 is that it was a condensed event where I feel like now it kind of becomes this like summer of fun, which there's ways that could be cool too. But the frustration is like, if you're trying to see the shows, it's keeping track of them. It's managing the time stuff. It's like, it was a lot easier when it was like 3 or 4 days or even a week long. And it's like, we had G4 and they were good at interpreting things for us. We watched Kevin Pereira and Morgan Webb and Attack of the Show and like all of those things that really helped us like make sense of everything, where like, if you're not watching it all, then it's hard to do that, right? You have to wait for someone like an IGN to come through and kind of summarize it. And that's not a bad thing. We appreciate IGN and companies like that. But I think that was kind of some of the pieces that we will be missing out as we move into this other era. Now, again, it also might be cool things. I've said many times that like I'm a huge Apple fan. Apple did this too. They used to have huge developer conferences, these huge presentations, and they still have it. Like WWDC was actually just announced this week, but a lot of their showcases have moved to entirely pre-recorded things, and to be honest, they're great. They're really good. They're also much more condensed. It doesn't feel like a huge waste. It's just not the event that it once was. And so I mean, this is I think naturally where things were going to go. Now again, I'm still hopeful for this year. I'm not for E3 or anything like that. It was just, that was a little bit shocking, even though we were kind of seeing the writing on the wall, people backing out. We just kind of, I think, like, no, it's going to pull through, it's going to be okay. So I literally saw that on Instagram as I got out of my car to come home today. I was like, wow, that's quite the blow. So the end, man, there's not much we can do. Hopefully we just got to trust everyone's going to make some cool stuff for us this summer. And if not, at least we got a lot of great stuff to play.
We got plenty to play. All right, guys, let's close out the news with these last two quick stories. Rest in peace, E3. The first story, this is just a shout out. Join the battle for Sanctuary with the Xbox Series X Diablo IV bundle. This is launching worldwide June 6th. You get the game, and you also get an in-game item, the Lightbearer mount, whatever that is. And then you also, this is the weird part. Then you get bonus in-game items for Diablo 3 on console and PC. Another mount for World of Warcraft on PC, and then a cosmetic set for Diablo Immortal. Very bizarre. I mean, I like that they're just bundling the game with the Series X. So if you don't have a Series X and you want to play Diablo, yes, by all means get this bundle for sure. We're all going to buy the game, and who knows, maybe Bacon thinks it's still going to be on Game Pass at that point, but I don't believe so. So shout out, there is a console paired with Diablo 4. It's not a special edition console. I'm sure we're going to get that with Starfield. I think that's where we're finally going to see a
Dude, but a
cool.
Diablo one would have been sick. That feels a little
Well,
bit
I
like a
bet
missed opportunity.
the chip
Just a little bit
shortages, the
on
the
the side.
deal
The
isn't
chip shortage
through
is paint,
yet.
bud. They have the consoles. It's a
Yes,
paint thing.
I
It's a wrap.
maybe they wanted to with the ABK deal. Who knows? Anyway, moving on to the last story for the week. Bacon's favorite topic: games with gold for April 2023. We have Out of Space Couch Edition. There's no place like home, especially when you're drifting through outer space. The challenge is that deadly alien infestation is also settled in. It will take your strategic skills to keep with each newly generated spaceship house, creating resources and recycling alien goo by automating tasks to help it clean and comfy. And then we've got Peaky Blinders Mastermind. A plot is afoot to put the family out of business, and it's up to you to uncover it. Set prior to season 1 of the hit show, which we've heard of and apparently Bogus has seen. You can control 6 key members of the Shelby family, each with different strengths and weaknesses. If you need to bribe a cop, use Polly, but if you need to bust down a door and knock a few skulls, take control of Arthur. By using the right person at the right time and leveraging the game's unique mechanics to move backwards and forwards through time, you can be the mastermind that puts everyone in sync to unlock the puzzles. I already know that Bubble Boy's gonna download this Peaky Blinders game because that's got his name written all over it. Guys, that has been the Xbox news for the week. Let's celebrate all the amazing games we have been playing in 2023 with What Have We Been Playing? And I got to throw it right over to Jose right away. I saw you finally got into it last night. You've been waiting forever for this one. And I have some thoughts, Jose, and I don't know if you're going to like them, but tell me what you have thought of the new Resident Evil 4 Evil 2. By the way, RE2 always greater than 4. I'm sorry. It's way better. It's not even
I
close.
saw
Go
you
ahead.
tweet that, and I almost responded, and then I said I have to wait because I cannot respond until I've played 4, but like I got to get through the remake. So I mentioned earlier when we started the show, we were in Florida last week, which was awesome. I have no regrets, but I played 0 Xbox. I didn't take my backbone. I didn't boot up anything when I was there.
How
And
are
I
you
don't
living?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I blacked out.
talking
I
to
feel
his
like Will
kids.
Ferrell in Old School, where he just like I blacked out. What happened? But literally, we got home on Tuesday. I had to get a bunch of stuff done for work, and then Wednesday night, which was last night, I finally I got my work done, and it was like 9:30, and I was like, I have to start. Like I would be doing a disservice to our fans, to my soul. I've got to pick up this game. I did spend the extra $10 to get the deluxe edition with the maps
I
and
did
stuff
too.
because I was like, this is literally one of my favorite series of all times, and for $10 more, I don't really care about the outfits, but some of the other stuff, some of the DLC stuff, I was like,
Support,
I'm in,
right, Jose?
I'm in,
Jose,
and support.
And I think I did buy Resident Evil 2 full price physical copy, by the way, guys. Fun fact.
Me too. It's over there in my cabinet.
and I actually traded it in eventually and then rebought it digitally when it was on sale because I was like, I need to have this in my library. But I remember I had a gift card or something such, so I bought it. But I was like, I need to spend the money to show my support because all these games I've played throughout my years, I need to pay full price for this. So I'm happy it did. And I'm also thinking I might do the same for Star Wars, even though I have no intention of playing it because it's right before Redfall, and I really want to play Redfall, and I will get to Jedi. So sorry, Jose. Resident Evil 4, you jumped in. What are your impressions so far?
So to be fair, I've played very little. I literally played all the way through the tiny spoiler alert through the opening scene with the villagers and the chainsaw guy, which was even the demo that came out. And then literally right after that, I got to the save point and went to bed. I'm loving it. It's exactly what I wanted, man. It's exactly what I wanted with Dead Space, where I was like, I loved the game. It was an awesome game. I just want updated graphics and controls. I will say the only tiny complaint is I need to dial in my aiming. Like there's just something about it that's just like a little bit off. And again, I didn't have time to
It's
play it.
funny. I'll say it's funny you said because there are a lot of people complaining about it, but I've always felt like the aiming in Resident Evil games have been a little off and a little janky. Like it's never
But
to
see,
me felt good.
I
Some
feel
people
like
are complaining about it.
RE4 on the
Yeah,
GameCube was like super tight controls because I
no, dude, it's
remember
worse.
playing it and
It's
I was
worse
like,
than you.
I
No,
was
no,
like,
it's Jose. It's much worse than you've ever. I just played. You remember? I just played Resident Evil 4
yeah.
on the Xbox, and that's with the improved. It's terrible, but you're right. It is. I see what you're saying, and there are a lot of people complaining about that. To me, I'm like, Resident Evil. It doesn't feel any different than Resident Evil 2 to me. It's always has felt slow and shaky. So
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
No,
The
just
remake.
honestly, I'm loving every second of it. You know, I almost went back and played 4 before this came out, but I was like, no, I like want to relive it again, and I know things will come back because I remember them. And I part of the other reason why I bought the expanded version of it was because I figure once I finish it, when I can find a lull this summer, I would like to go back and do 2 through 4 like back to back. I think that'd be a fun playthrough of all the remakes. So I'm planning on doing that. Um, Other than that, I mean, I don't have a ton just because I haven't played a ton yet. I mean, I I I think it's beautiful. I think the controls work really well. I think that like they did such a good job rebuilding all the environments. I just cannot wait to get to some of the other ones. I'm excited there. I haven't really been playing anything else. I did play a lot of Wolong. I mentioned that the last time we recorded. I had gotten to the lightning guy who was just clapping me all over the place, and I had to pause. And I was funny when Miggy asked us earlier, like, "What's the dumbest game you've ever played?" I said, "It's not Wolong, but I feel dumb when I play it because it's just so ridiculously hard, and it's frustrating." And so I don't know when I'm going to go back to Wolong, but I'm not giving up. I need to I need to put it on a back burner and pause for a little bit. And I've got Resident Evil. We've got Jedi Survivor coming out. We obviously have Redfall, which I'm excited for, and
Ghostwire Tokyo coming
Ghostwire
out.
Tokyo, which I'm pumped for on the 12th. I mean, so I got plenty to kind of to get me through until I come
Sifu,
back to
according
that.
to Bogus. Yeah. So here,
I don't know if I'm gonna do Sifu
yeah, I'm
because
not
I
gonna do
couldn't do
Sifu.
Wolong, but well, Sifu seems like
No,
it's
hold
just
on.
I'm gonna murder myself doing that. But other than that, man, excited to play out everything coming out. We're just really starting to
So
hit the high season and all the gaming.
yeah.
So
Oh,
really,
it's
really
out of
great
control.
stuff.
It's out of control. So here's what I'm gonna say, Jose. I think Resident Evil 4. I've always been like I said, Resident Evil 2 to me has always been better than 4. And then here's the thing. I like Resident Evil 4, the remake so far, but there are times where I'm like, I kind of wish I was playing Hollow Knight. I
Are you
started
going to
Hollow
are
Knight.
you done with 4?
No,
Oh, okay.
I just did the water part and I'm about
Oh,
to
okay.
leave the island and go into the castle. That's where I am. Okay. Oh no, I'm at the cabin siege part. By the way, got my cheeks
Cheeks clapped.
clapped over there in that dang cabin. I was like, I'm not doing this right now. So I quit right there. I was like, I'm done. Here's the thing about Resident Evil 4. Beautiful game. It's everything what a remake should be. But I can't help but feel, Jose, since I just played 4 not too long ago, that was a mistake. Because I
Mhm.
kind of feel like I'm playing a game that I just played, only it's prettier and looks great.
Yeah, shouldn't have done it.
And I shouldn't have done it. And not only that, I got the 1,000 of 1,000 on Resident Evil 4, the original version, and that was so
What an idiot.
I had to play it multiple times through. So I'm like, I wish I hadn't have done that. I think I'd appreciate it more. But again, incredibly well made. Capcom has knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I that's my biggest problem is I feel like I've just played this and I wish I hadn't. So I'll just say that. As far as gameplay, I like the new parry. I don't use it much. I've used it like that one time to get the achievement, and I
I
forget
did it
to
on
use it.
accident and got the achievement. Like it popped and I was like, "What did I just do?"
Yeah. So I mean, I got that's one thing I need to think of is I need to be more active with the parries. I can see how that'd be very helpful actually, but I'm not used to it because that's not a normal
Mhm.
Resident Evil
It's new.
mechanic, right? It's just not ingrained in my head. So um, again,
A f a
beautiful. I like it, but I still think 2 is better, Jose, because 2 is more of that you have to be smart. It's a little tighter
Mhm.
quarters.
Yeah, the
It's
station.
more survival horror, more spooky. This is more of an action game, so you're doing a way more shooting and kicking and knocking people over, which is
Yeah,
cool.
just the sheer amount of bullets I found in the
Yeah, no,
first
you
area, I was like,
well,
"This is way different than
I'm
2."
still, conserving it by the way, because you do need to conserve it. But like
Oh, I do.
it's just it's a lot. I remember Ain said it really well. He said that he had never played 4, and he's like, "Wow, this is a direct comparison to Village," and he's right. There, like Village was a lot of shooting too as well, so I can definitely see the comparison. But to me, RE2 is still better, and so I'm gonna finish this, and I like it. But I already know I'm not gonna go over everything. I'm gonna play it once, and that'll probably be it. Like which is sad to me. Maybe someday I'll go back to it, but well made. Love Capcom. Love Resident Evil. Hollow Knight, Bogus. This game is pretty cool, and I'm mad at myself for not playing this earlier. This is a mix of Ori, a little bit of Souls in there with how you die. I mean, actually, it really is just Ori. The more I think about it, and I'm loving it. I've only done like the first area. I don't like Bogus how have no idea where to go or what to do, and like you are completely just dropped in. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, at the same time, it's a platformer. It's the action Metroidvania, and the combat is fun. So I'm glad I started this. This will be like my game in between or after Resident Evil, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm sad I didn't play it before, but it will be a game that I will continue and beat. So,
How far are
those
you into it?
just the first area I've just cleared out. That's it. So that's I mean, a couple hours. And Resident Evil Jose, I think I'm 6 hours. I've been taking about an hour per chapter, and I'm on chapter at the end of 5 and into 6. So that's how far I am on 4. Bogus, what about you? What have you been playing? Anything? I saw you in Elden Ring again. Don't lie to me. You were back on Elden Ring, you dirty dog. So did you ever beat Wo Long? Talk to us.
So I haven't played much this week. Where my spring break is just about to start, so I was getting ready for spring break. Speaking of working out, I've gotten back into a pretty consistent routine of working out. I know you guys like to make fun of me that I don't need it, but I do, man. And it's so a lot of my mornings when I usually get up early and play video games has been get up early and go run or row on my rowing machine. But
good for you, man.
Yeah, but I have not beat Wo Long yet. I think I'm literally down to, because the blind boy, like that's it, right? So you like do the dragon, and then it's pretty much the blind boy and you're done, right? So I just need to get in there and just knock it out. But I did get back into Elden Ring. I'm getting excited for this DLC. And I went through, and this might have been a mistake. Maybe I wouldn't be playing Elden Ring right now if I hadn't done this. But I went through and deleted almost all of my characters. I mean, I deleted a ton of hours of gameplay. I kept only one character, which is my character I have like 200 plus hours on.
Why?
I think I'm on like New Game 8. Because I was like, if I have no reason to keep playing this game. I've built every single character. And then they announced the DLC. And so now I'm like, well, now I feel like I need to go create like 2 or 3 characters. Like I'm not going to use my level 300 and whatever player character to go do the DLC. So
you want to have a normal character that's like 100.
And I want to have some options, right? Because I don't know what the DLC is, and I don't know, what kind of weapons there is going to be. And so I'm going through right now, and I'm creating 4 of my favorite builds, recreating 4 of my favorite builds.
What are the builds quickly? What are weapons?
So I gotta say, of all the weapons, the Mariah's Executioner Sword is probably my favorite build. It's a Strength Arcane build, and I use Mariah's Executioner Sword with a parry shield, and then my dragon incantations, right? And so I build up my dragon incantations, and even after all these hours, I just realized that the best way to do the dragon incantations is to jump and then do them, because a lot of times you can jump and do them in the air and you won't get hit a lot. You can miss a lot of stuff that would normally knock you out of that. So I am just having a blast with that. And Mariah's Executioner Sword, if you build that right, you can one-shot most enemies, because it's just you get those.
Dude, I've never heard of it. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Oh, it's the coolest looking weapon in the whole game. It's like a flat great sword, but there's no edge on the top. There's no edge on the very top. It's just kind of flat on top. I can't believe you haven't heard of it. It's great sword. And then my other build is a samurai, where I just use the Nagi. I think it's called the Nagi Kaba. It's a spear, but it's got a really, really unique move set. And then I use a katana, and I use quick step. And I don't know if you ever use Quick Step. Bloodhound Step I used to use, but it just feels so easy now. So now I use Quick Step on that, and then I just it's just a Dex build, but I just put Blood Flame Blade and get those bleed procs from the Blood Flame Blade, and it's a lot of fun too. And then my
Like speaking another language here, bud.
I'm so lost right now. I was like, what?
and then you'll know this build, just a sheer faith build. So just an all fire build, just using the big fireball and just total fire. And
Don't know that one. Didn't mess with that. I was either a mage or dex. And I did
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah, and my last one is a Mageville and using the Dark Moon Greatsword, of course, which is probably the easiest weapon in the game to beat the game with. If you were gonna just beat the game, just use that.
Really?
It's so.
I think the mage
yeah,
just
it's
with
crazy.
the giant sword or the little Cillian slicer one, like that's powerful. Like just magical weapons, not even like a physical weapon.
But Dark Moon Greatsword, all you have to spend your magic on is just charging it, and then you shoot your projectiles with R2. It's your heavy attack, and you don't use any.
You mean right trigger?
Mana.
Come on, Bacon.
Yeah, right trigger, whatever. And
Right,
it's
Bogus.
yeah. So anyway, those are my 4 builds that I'm building, and then who knows, maybe I'll do a 5th one. But yeah, so I'm back into Elden Ring.
I can't even be mad at you. It's game of a generation. It's incredible. So, Bacon, what? Well, I already know what you're playing. Tell me about Dead Space 3, your favorite to the trilogy.
So following my enjoyment of Dead Space Remake, thank you, Jose. Loved that game. I followed and basically no life Dead Space 2, which isn't hard because it's what 8 or 9 hours, something like that. Not crazy hard. Love Dead Space 2. So I'm like, you know what? Let's finish this off. So I fire up Dead Space 3, back compat, expecting, but Dan told me it's Dead Space who tries to be Uncharted, I think he said it was. And 10 minutes into that game, I'm like, yep, I see it. What are these jumping over things and falling down things? And I really tried to like Dead Space 3 to finish it, and I've uninstalled the game. It is so bad.
Wow,
I'm
couldn't
not
even finish
sure
it. You made the
how
right choice.
how they lost their way. This is not the way. This is not Mando. It was I feel for Visceral and what happened to them and EA shutting them down. And I firmly believe it is because this game is why they shut them down and said, you will not make games ever again. Then I also finished Shadow Warrior 3.
I was just gonna ask you how you like
So
that. Such a
good.
great game, right?
It is so good. It is ridiculous. It's not overly hard. It is literally Doom with funny dialogue. You guys have to play it. You have to play
I've heard good things.
it. It
I
is
know, it's
so
on the list.
fantastic. The movement's great. The guns are great. Shifting guns on the fly and just wrecking things. Perfect game. And I did get back from vacation in time. I promised my buddy Mike, Deja Vu in the chat, that I would give Diablo an honest go. I played through 3 with him just
clearly.
to get the Achievos. I played 3 to get the Achievos. I've never been a Diablo guy. There's too much going on. There's too much meta and this gym and that gym. The amount of time, you clear one
Bacon.
group and you got 17 things you can equip and you got to spend all this
Bacon.
time looking at your loot. Yes.
That's the one game I've like fallen asleep to, that and the Division 2, or I've been like, there's so
That's
much going on.
There's a lot going on. I'm
There's a
dropping
lot, and I'm
stuff
like,
because I have so much stuff in my inventory, but I can't get back to my home base to sell it or deconstruct it because there's so much in my inventory. I'm like, and my boy Mike's always like, hold on, I gotta check my loot. And he's, oh, well, I can get this buff, that buff. I'm like, so I gave it a shot. I really did like Diablo 4. I maxed out 2 characters in the time of the beta. Really enjoyed it. The one thing you can never doubt is Blizzard's ability to make a cutscene that will pull you in.
yeah, they're
It's
really good
enthralling.
too. Yeah.
Yes, their cutscenes are just perfect. So it's going to be a huge game, and it's going to make a lot of money for Microsoft because we're going to own Activision. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then last night I was sitting around, I got mad at Wolfenstein, the old days or old ways.
Dude, I love the old blood. The
It's
prequel,
great, right? It's great.
So good.
I love Wolfenstein. I've been on Wolfenstein kick. And I got really mad and I'm like, I left the game and I'm like, what do I want? And I found Sifu in the store. I paid the $39. That game is badass, guys. The art style, and I'm a sucker for Kung Fu. I'm a sucker for all that. Thought I was just rocking these dudes. I'm like, this ain't too hard. And I get to the second hideout and I just get smashed, just beat down by a dude with a pipe. So it's just gonna be a learning curve. I'm really gonna enjoy that. But Sifu is worth a buy. Of what I've seen now, I'll probably do a review on that for the Xbox side, because I think that's gonna be the next one I finish to completion. So I've been a busy boy since I got back from vacation.
Yeah, putting in work. Does anyone want to talk about anything that they've been watching? I wrote down, I've been watching a little bit of Ted Lasso, and
Great.
Allie and I were talking about this. It's like, what can they do? Like realistically, like we've seen them,
Don't hate on that show. You go watch your
I'm not
Bachelorette and
hating,
get
but
out of
even
here.
Allie was like, yeah,
Roy
it feels.
Roy Kent can run for president for all I care, because that man's God.
I mean, yeah, I love Roy Kent, and then like, okay, we're gonna bring in Zava, spoilers, but like, I've been watching it, but at the same time, it's like, there's only so much you can do. But now they've got this like shaman per lady in there reading Rebecca's future. I don't know. I like it, but at the same time, it's like, come on, guys.
I know.
There's only so
but you
much.
watch it. You play games to have fun. You watch it to feel good. That's the whole point of the show. It's not to build this incredible narrative. It's not Game of Thrones. It's not Breaking Bad. It's not The Sopranos. It's Jamie Tart, LOL from B. Right. It is entirely a show to make you feel good. Where truly, there's just not a lot of shows like that. I think that's what the biggest appeal is.
Good point.
Like,
Yeah,
most shows
so
are
good.
not built like
You're
that.
right. I
Oh,
still
good.
and I'm still enjoying it, but I'm like, is this gonna go anywhere?
Nope.
And then they do something emotional, and I'm like, oh, you damn fucking Ted
I mean,
Lasso.
I hope. I know. There we go. And we just got.
Oh,
I certainly hope, honestly, that we that the show ends at some point. I hope that they don't just like write it out. I mean,
yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, I don't want it to
You
end soon,
can't
Bacon.
yeah, but
But I
you
want them to like
can't-
write
yeah.
an ending
Thank you,
where
Jose.
things
Thank
like
you.
culminate when that happens.
Wait, speaking of Ted Lasso, Bogus, have you watched any of it? Take off your headphones for a second. I don't want.
I haven't seen the new
spoiler
one.
warning.
Don't ask
Spoiler
me.
warning. I'm
I
not.
haven't
It's
seen
not.
the
Anything, I'm not. It's not about that. This is just a general question. Do we think Ted is going to end up with Rebecca?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Rebecca's out of Ted's league. I'm sorry. Rebecca is a smokestack. Let's be real. God dang. She's talk about a hall pass. I'm like, Allie, that's my hall pass.
Nobody's out of Ted
You have
Lasso's
no
league.
chance, bud.
That man's inspirational.
The other thing, a show that's like that we've been watching is Abbott Elementary, especially if you're in education. Really great show. Just again, pretty lighthearted and short episodes. We love watching that. Mando, Dan wrote that in the chat. Mando is rough.
Oh yeah, let's talk about.
It's not my favorite episode.
Dude.
And I'm not gonna do any spoilers, truly. So if you haven't watched it, I'm not gonna say anything.
I won't
just
either,
like
but
the one thing I read, it's
what has happened, Jose. What?
I think the thing that we need that someone said on a show is there needs to be a sense of urgency. There was a sense of urgency in each of the last seasons, and we just haven't really felt that yet. I have hope that it's coming. I think it's coming with that. I think it was the third episode where it was kind of a totally different like landscape and totally different characters. I feel like that's going to play into it a little bit, but we obviously don't know that piece of it.
Good point. Yeah, that was probably the most interesting episode. Actually, was the one without Mando.
So, I'm excited though, man. Again, it's the one show that my kids will watch of Star Wars right now, and so Penelope's really getting into it, and so I'm hoping I can parlay that into maybe watching the movies this summer with her, because I think she would get it now, especially after going to Disney World and stuff like that. So, haven't really been watching and much else. I still want to go back to watching Wu-Tang American Saga. We're still on season 2 of that, and we just kind of fell off because some other things were happening. But, hey, man, it's a great time for content. It's also just a busy time for life.
Yeah. Bogus, before I throw it over to you, I do want to shout out B says rumor has it season 3 is last one. Good. Because I love Ted Lasso. Like they gotta either figure it out or like Jose said, they do need to wrap it up in a satisfying one, which I'm sure they will. I don't think they're gonna mess it up. I think all the money and Apple is gonna throw at that. They'll do a great job. But then Apple's gonna be like, we need to keep some content flowing at the same time. Nell says, talk about Will Trent, Bacon. So I'm gonna throw it to the Bacon here in a second. Bogus, do you watch TV at all, or are you just like
I'm
like no? To me, like I'd rather game than watch stuff. I mean, to be fair, when I'm spending time with Allie, we're watching Vanderpump, we're watching Real Housewives, typical, just Bravo, Summer House, and I love it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. The drama, this whole Sandoval, the Scandoval saga. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. This stuff is popping off in Vanderpump, you guys. It is crazy out there. So, Bogus, talk to me. Do you watch anything? Do you have any interest in the shows we've been talking about?
So mostly, I just watch stuff that my wife wants to watch. But I have watched.
Great answer.
I've watched a lot of this stuff on Disney Plus, and I have to watch that by myself because she's not into Star Wars and she's not into Marvel. I
Same.
did get her to watch the entire MCU phase,
Excellent.
1
That's what I
through
want to
3.
get Allie to do.
And I think she's glad she sat down. I also think she was glad when it was over. It was kind of one of those, like, she sat down, she stuck it out for me. And I appreciate that. But 2 things I did want to throw out there with it. We just watched on Netflix. I watched The Recruit with her, which just came out like
With Colin Farrell?
No,
The
it's
movie,
it's
The Recruit?
no, but it's about the CIA.
CIA?
Yeah, but it's completely different. It's he's a lawyer and he joined, and it's completely different. But it's
Also a
called
good
The
movie.
Recruit, and it is, but the show is very, very good. And then this cult following of the show Wednesday that I just didn't understand. Have you guys heard about the show Wednesday on Netflix?
I loved it, Bogus.
Okay, all right. So I'm 2.5 episodes in. I think it's great. I mean, I think
Awesome.
that Jennifer Ortega, is that her name?
Jenna Ortega, yeah.
Dude, she just plays that role, those eyes, and just how she gives that blank stare. Like, she plays that role of exactly, what the Addams Family and Wednesday portrayed. And the story's good, right? The mystery's good, and and the building of the story. So yeah, shout out to Wednesday and The Recruit on Netflix. It very, very much so enjoy The Recruit, and I'm intrigued by Wednesday. 2.5 episodes in.
Sweet.
Last, we'll throw it over to Bacon. Bacon, I do want to say, have you guys seen The Departed, the movie with
About 50
exactly
times.
exactly right, fantastic movie, right? Academy Award winning Best Picture. By the way, so yesterday we didn't have any reality TV to watch. I'm like, Allie, I brought up The Departed for some reason, some scene in there, and she's like, "What's that?" And I was like,
What?
just like, what did you just say to me? Just shocked. I'm like, you haven't seen The Departed? Oh, that's what it was. We were talking. I was like, we should watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then she's like, oh, well, most Academy Award winning films aren't good. And I was like, whoa. Martin Scorsese's The Departed did win. And some say it was a makeup, but either way, it did win Best Picture. And I'm like, that is a good movie that won Best Picture. And she's like, what's that? I immediately went, thank God I still have my HBO Max for this month because I ended it now that The Last of Us is over. Started watching it. We watched about 30 minutes and I was like, all right, it's time for bed. And she's like, no, I want to keep watching. I'm like, dang right you do. Invested. She wants to see what's going on with Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio. Shout out everybody out there. If you haven't seen The Departed, go watch the 2006.
My
Academy
man crush
Award.
Mark Wahlberg's in that.
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
Man
And
crush.
she's like, there's so many people in this. Is this where they all got started? I was like, Allie,
No.
no.
So many Boston accents.
Incredible. Just in a great movie. And I'm remembering things. I forgot Jack Nicholson was in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this movie is incredible. So shout out The Departed. Bacon, I know you love The Departed. What have you been watching? And talk to us about Will is that the independent guy?
It's Will Trent's a show on Fox about
What's the guy from the Independent?
Trent.
We don't know. Go look it up, Jose. The Independent. Yeah, anyway.
But Will Trent sneakily become our favorite show. Wife and I watch a lot of TV. We love it. And it's basically a dyslexic detective in the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. He wears a 3-piece suit, and it was pretty prim and proper. But it is low-key probably one of the best shows ever made. The comedy, the writing, character development with foster homes, and bad things that happen to kids in foster homes. It is absolutely a phenomenal show. We both cannot look away. And then I will say, I will not take any Ted Lasso slander. That show can go on as long as Friends. I don't care. They can write it.
You can't.
Yes. Roy Kent.
I'll allow it.
Roy Kent can be the Prime Minister of England for all I care, because he's
You're going to get him in the MCU. Don't worry.
He is the greatest. Maybe MCU. He is the greatest character ever written.
Maybe
Roy
Bacon.
Kent.
He isn't. You know that, right? He's in the MCU.
Is he?
Oh, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go, Jose. Go watch. Go watch. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. Go ahead.
But for us sci-fi nerds, on Peacock, I've been watching a show called The Ark about the last Ark, to go out and find a planet to live, to remain human life to exist, and accidents happen. So it's almost like kids that are running this ship to get to it. It's pretty good. So if you have Peacock, it's definitely worth a watch. And then
Bacon, what was that Will Trent? Is it on Hulu or any other platform? Or just Fox?
It's a Fox show. I don't know if Fox shows are on Hulu or not. It is incredible. It is
Should be
absolutely.
Hulu.
You can get it on demand on Xfinity if you have that. I'm sure.
He does.
Will Trent is absolutely fantastic.
You don't have cable?
Not cable, just internet.
Shit.
But also Trent Krim was the person we were looking for. Trent Krim.
Trent Krim, the Independent. Also, shout out
the
to
Independent.
B.
There it is. Yeah.
Sorry. Deja Vu said straight classic. Departed is absolutely. It is a banger slinger. B says Bacon. What platform is? Oh, you just answered. Then he said Bacon looks like Ted if he had a mustache.
He said a molestache.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're right. Sorry,
You
I
should
misread
see my
that.
mullet right now.
I was like, yeah, Ted
Nicely.
Lasso has a great mustache.
Look at all this hair
and,
back here, boys. It's
heinous. I don't get that, by the way.
Mullet.
The mullet being back in, it never
'cause you're
looked
too
good
young.
before, never looked good again. Sorry.
You had a
guys.
mullet
You're
in
too
the
young.
80s.
You're almost
I had,
Never
forward.
had a mullet.
I had a
Sorry.
rat tail that almost went to my butt crack. It was
God,
so long,
you
dude.
How about
would.
how about
Early.
how about the high shorts that the boys are wearing nowadays?
I have.
I've seen
Speaking
them.
of, it's funny you
Oh
mentioned
no, here
that.
we go.
Oh, dude,
God,
I don't know how you
Put those away.
I don't know how you. How
Oh,
you
they're,
how
they're
you
just
guys are
above the
wearing
knee.
those.
It's here's the real look at this.
So much range of movement. It's
There we
incredible.
go. There it is, right there.
It's all
bro.
that
You see
candy
that-
he's
you see
eating,
that?
bud.
You see
Yeah.
That's
that
what it is.
quad right
He
there?
works his
You
quads
see
out,
that?
boys.
You see that quad, Boggy?
Impressive.
Somebody clip that.
Too much.
What were we talking about? Anything
Little
else you've been
jacket.
watching?
That's
Mando
it.
sucks, by the way. Mando, I'm just gonna say it. Mando has not been good at all. Not interesting, except for that
I've
one
enjoyed
episode.
it. It's not as good as the other
Jose,
seasons.
do you
but I've
ever
enjoyed it.
not like things?
No, I enjoy lots of things because that's what life is about. My life is not about hating things.
Nell with the win in the chat, just so you guys can see that.
No one. What I just, you know what? Just above the knee. No, I just feel so free and speaking of free and moving, I sent a message out to the nerd chat. These Puma boxers, man, I feel like I'm wearing nothing at all right now. You guys, nothing at all. Jose, you have that Simpsons.
Nope.
On your soundboard, nothing at all. Anyway, I highly recommend these Puma ones. Only problem is, Bogus, I know you're interested. They kind of roll up a little bit. That's my problem with these boxer briefs, you guys. Kind of roll up on the thighs. I feel I got to adjust a lot more often. This is taking a left turn, guys. This has been the Nerd Chat episode 100. We're not done yet. Don't think I forgot. Gentlemen, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. I just want to say I finished the Mambas, finished the Nerd Ropes, about to finish the bag.
That's why he's dancing around.
The Nerds Gummy Cluster. So, wow,
500
I am
grams of sugar?
high on
600?
life right about now. Shout out to High on Life, high on gummy Nerd Clusters. Bogus, what is the best food you had this week?
Man, I don't have too much. I hit up Chipotle this week and always love Chipotle. I got one right next to my work. I will miss that because I'm switching to a county that's a little closer to home next year. And
Wait, you're switching jobs?
Yeah, you got that job at the new school?
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. That's awesome, man.
Yes,
So,
Bogus.
yeah. So after 7 years of driving 45 minutes one way to work, because that was the county that paid the most.
What's going on? Talk to us.
So Orange County, which is a little bit closer, within 25 minutes, they changed their pay structure to make it
nice.
to make it more lucrative for
More
me.
competitive.
And, yep. And now my oldest Riley starts middle school next year, so she'll be able to go to the middle school right next door to the high school I'm teaching at, and then feed right into that high school. So so got a job teaching math and then coaching volleyball over there starting next year. Made the announcement official a week ago at Cary, so that was tough because it's hard to leave a place you love, right?
Yeah.
I had the same thing with Bear Creek.
Yeah.
It was very difficult, but circumstances,
especially when you're as loved and below
100%
as Bogus. I do want to say Deja Vu short shorts for the court. You'll see. We're gonna be balling on Sunday, so you'll see what I rock on the court there, just above the knee, guys. It's not crazy. These are actually the shortest shorts I own, and they were a gift from John, my brother-in-law, Allie's brother, who gave it to me for Christmas, and he's younger, so this is kind of
he was trying to make you hip.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Shout out to John. Not possible.
Bogus, anything else?
Yeah, and then the other morning I was driving to work and thought, man, I'm hungry. I need to
Donuts,
eat something.
McGriddle.
No, I went to, and this is, you guys won't be able to appreciate this, but I went to a little place out here called Bojangles and got me a fried spicy Cajun chicken fillet. It's just
breakfast.
Oh, so good, man. It's just a Cajun chicken and a biscuit. And I'm telling you, they
I'm in.
homemade their base.
Yeah,
It's
I'm on it.
incredible. Incredible. And then
Bob.
their hash browns, they do these rounds. They do these hash brown rounds that are just absolutely to die for. If you like hash browns, you know, I love McDonald's hash browns. If you get a fresh brown, they're very good. These rounds, they put those in the ground. I mean, they're that good.
I'm not even a hash brown fan, but I got to shout out McDonald's hash browns. They are delicious. So, Bacon, I have news. I am going to be in Southern Charm itself, aka Charleston, South Carolina, in November. So, come spend a weekend out there with me and take me to all the fast food places that I need to go to out in South Carolina. All right. So, don't forget, plan on that in November. Bacon, what was the best food you had this week?
Well, I want to shout out real quick. Bogus just got blown up in the chat for not letting the reference know the big news that came through. I'm pretty sure she dropped a pretty good reference. I was in Tucson or Tucson, as we all call it.
Why do you keep saying that? It's
spelled.
No one has ever said
it is spelled Tucson.
Life. I've literally never heard that, right, Jose?
I guess it's an inside joke. It is spelled Tucson. Anyways, if you guys don't know, that is secretly a great place to eat. I'm not sure why. It's a UNESCO city or something like that, where there's all kinds of grub. I had a steak chimichanga the first night there. Whoa, that thing was the bomb. And I followed up the second night with a hamburger that had, I think the patty was that thick. I kid you not, fellas.
That's what
she said.
Come on, no,
that's what she said.
It was literally thicker than a T-bone. Fan freaking tastic. And then we had some Italian the third night. So I had a wood fire pizza made full on Italian with like little bits of cheese. It was really, really weird, but it tasted fantastic. So I really deviated from my diet. And
I was gonna say bacon's off the bandwagon again.
Let's just say my endocrinologist is going to have problems with my A1C this
we're bad influences. That's part of the issue.
Hey,
it was worth it. Yeah, on vacation.
Man.
Fantastic. There's so much food in Tucson.
Shout out to B. B said, make instant pot loaded baked potato soup with bacon. No pun intended. Bojangles is the bomb. Love the
cheer wine.
Is that supposed to be cheese? What?
It's cheer wine. Come on, you guys don't know what cheer wine is?
No, we don't know what Bojangles is. All right?
So cheer wine is like extra sweet Dr. Pepper. It's
yeah. You guys love your sweet tea. Let me get another sweet tea.
Yeah, why are you doing an English accent, bud?
I do declare.
I need some more sweet tea.
Mr. Bojangles.
I need some sweet tea. And then B said, anyone going to the Denver Barbecue Festival? I don't know. I just found out about it. Sounds like a great idea, B. Speaking of best food, I'll go next. And Tucson. Bacon, I went my first vacation, fun fact, with Allie was spring break 2017, right after I blew out my ankle. We went to Tucson, Arizona. We stayed at the Omni International, also golf course that holds PGA events out in Tucson. And it was fantastic. And the best food we had that week, I remember, was we had a bunch of Texas Roadhouse delivered to us. We had In-N-Out, but we did eat at the restaurant at the resort, the golf course, which was fantastic. It was a delicious steakhouse, which was phenomenal. But go ahead, Bacon.
We had In-N-Out while we were there, like a little snack between breakfast and
because it's accessible. And why not?
It was awful. In-N-Out is the most overrated place on the face.
You gotta
of this
make
planet.
it. You gotta make it animal style to make it.
We
more
did,
edible.
and it was awful.
Okay, try the protein lettuce.
No redeeming qualities for In-N-Out. I do not get the love affair for In-N-Out.
Fries are terrible.
Wendy's is better. Wendy's is better than In-N-Out.
By the way, okay, gotta shout this out right now. Best food I had this week. Allie made breakfast for dinner. It's like tradition on Thursday nights. The kids love it before swimming lessons. I've gone over this: bacon, eggs, French toast. Does it get any better than that, you guys, for breakfast? Absolutely not. But the best food I had this week, and it had been a while. I don't know if I think I sent you the picture of this. Guys, we went to Smash Burger. And we were talking about burgers the other time. Smash Burger has climbed up on my list. I underestimate Smash Burger. I got their bacon cheeseburger. It was fantastic. But then the thing that surprised me, their sides, whole other level, you guys. Have you gotten the Brussels sprouts from there? I know you're thinking, why would I do that? Jose, you are wrong, dude. These
No, you're
things
wrong.
blew me away. Fantastic. Allie ordered them. I was like, Brussels sprouts? What the? Couldn't stop eating hers. Dad tax on the way home. Obviously, I'm chowing down them. I saw why. They're like completely smothered in grease and fried. 440 calories, and only like 90 less than the sweet potato fries or the onion rings. I got the onion ring. They're onion rings. They call it something else. It's just basically fried little thin onions.
Yeah, the thin onions.
Oh my gosh, fantastic. And the sweet potato fries, guys. Smash Burger has gone up.
I like the smash fries, but just the smash fries with
and
like
reasonably
and
priced.
olive
Like it's
oil.
not crazy. Like compared to Freddy's, I'm like, wow, I need to go to Smash Burgers
Yeah.
way often. Sorry, Bacon, go ahead.
How did your pee smell after that extravaganza? Is my question. Brussels sprouts and onion rings. That's just
he's finishing up with Sweethearts for Open Nerd Clusters.
Exactly. I started eating cookies and it smelled great. I had some pineapple afterwards. Anyway, that was the best food I had this week. Shout out to Allie for an amazing breakfast, and shout out to Allie. She's always recommending Smash Burger. Props to Smash Burger. Jose, what was the best food you had this week?
Well, very quick, because I had a great week because we were in Disney World. But tonight we also had breakfast for dinner, Dan, and Victoria made a French toast bake with bacon and eggs. It was awesome, man. It was so good. But Disney, I had a lot of great food. I mean, one of my favorite things at the hotels is like the first night we got in there, I went and got my dad cup. I took it third trip now and got it reactivated so I could fill it for unlimited refills. And it was a whole little bit of a saga to get it to work because our friend Matt at the counter was inept and didn't know how to do that. I go to someone else, but ultimately, my favorite thing to get there is the pizza, because here's what's crazy: a slice of pizza, no joke, is $10. A slice of pizza. A full pizza is $20. Like that is literally, so literally every time we go, it's like, we're just going to get a whole pizza. And what's great about it is like, we each had our pizza. We ate it. It was great. I had it left over in the room. And so like every night we'd get back from the park and I could just like enjoy a piece of pizza before bed, which was like fantastic vacation food. But the best thing I had, Victoria booked lots of really cool things. We ate at Cinderella's Castle, which was really cool for the princesses. We ate at Snow White's Storybook Hour and met Grumpy and Dopey and the Evil Queen and Snow White and stuff like that, all these fancy things. But my favorite thing that she booked for us, we went to Space 220, which I didn't even know was a thing in Disney World. And we've been multiple times. It's in Epcot, and it's like in a part of the park that I had never been to. But basically what happens is you go in and you do your reservation and they're like, okay, stand by the wall to get in the elevator. And so you get in this elevator and there's a huge screen on the ground and they say, all right, we're going up. And then it's a video, but it looks like you go into space. Like the earth gets like really small. You see Florida. It's like Google Maps kind of. And they basically say like, okay, we're now in Alpha something station. We're 220 miles above the earth. And that's why it's called Space 220. And so then it opens the door and it's basically a whole wall of these massive screens behind what looks like a space station of Earth. So it looks like you're in space eating food. And it was awesome. The food was like absolutely ridiculously expensive for the record. It was I think it was $80 per person for the adults, and it was a fixed menu where you chose items, which, yeah, that's why, like, we've never been there. We will probably never go again, but it was cool to do this one time. And I had filet mignon, which was, like, exceptionally delicious. So that was the best food I had this week. There were a lot of other great stuff. And for the record, that's not how we typically eat when we go to Disney World, but it's actually very hard to get a reservation there. And again, Victoria did a great job to do that for our family. So that's the best food I had.
Is the Tron ride open yet?
It did open, but it was like the last time we were there, the Star Wars one had just opened, and it was really hard to get a place in line because you can't just go wait in line.
Yeah,
like you literally
sign up on the app.
You have to sign up on the app, and if you
Just
can't,
there's
no other line to get into. So the Tron one was open. I could see it from like afar when we went to do the Barnstormer little roller coaster, but I didn't get to do that itself. But we did do Rise of the Resistance again, which is the Star Wars one, and it's super dope. Like if you can only do one Star Wars ride because there's not a lot of time, go do Rise of the Resistance. I promise you will not be upset. It was super cool. So that's the best food I had, man.
I'll have to get your Disney recommendations if I ever get there someday. Guys, this has been the Nerd Chat episode 100, Jose. I want to thank all of our guests who joined me today. Shout out to Bacon. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Jay Bizzle for joining us. Shout out to Bubble Boy and Spirit in his Darkness Retreat. Shout out to Billy for bailing on us. But seriously, guys, thank you to everyone who stopped by in the chat. Shout out to B, to Miggy, to PakAttack, to Deja Vu, to
Nell,
Nell,
to Mitchie Poo, he just joined too.
Poo, shout out to Mitchie Poo. I saw your comment. Thank you so much, guys. We really do appreciate it. I can't believe we've had 100 episodes. We will be on 2 years in just about a month here, which is crazy to think about. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm excited about where the show is going and how much we've grown in these 2 years and will continue to grow. So thank you again to all of our fans for tuning in. My name is DaddyDWALLY. You can follow me at DaddyDWALLY across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat across all social media. Shout out to all the great games we've been playing and great games we will be playing in the future. August, thank you so much for coming on again. Where can people find you? Can people find you or a new job, I guess?
Nope. Taking care of 4 children. Too busy for that social media.
Oh, 4
Usually
kids
you can see him on here.
And Jose, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Chipotle Bear, as well as Chipotle_Bear on Twitter. Feel free to reach out to those DMs. Again, it's been a great community, very supportive. Happy to support all the other creators out there. Make sure you're supporting them as well.
And X Bacon Gaming, where can people find you?
You can find me at X Bacon Gaming, spending entirely too much time in them Twitter streets. It's an addiction, fellas. I need an intervention.
Somebody get him off the streets. Thank you so much, Nell, for 100 episodes. Thank you, B. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like what we do here, consider subscribing. A lot of work goes into this stuff, so we appreciate your time. Thank you very much, guys.
And more content is on the way, guys. I might go have a second margarita. I'm not as drunk as I usually am after those one margaritas, so
I'm toasted.
Maybe I need to have a second and just push it a little bit further and then pass out here in a half an hour. As always, margarita lovers, see you online.
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 Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase, trademark, not to use the other position, Ricky Bobby.
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at DaddyDWALLY across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at the Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show, visit nerdchatmedia.com.